Hi, I'm Mark. This is Mark's Tech Vlogs on YouTube, and today I'm going to bring you guys a review of the brand new Hub 2 from SwitchBot. Now this item has only just been released by SwitchBot, but I've actually had one for about 3 weeks now in order to test it out and bring you guys a full review. Now if you've been around on this channel for a while, you'll know that I'm a big fan of SwitchBot because their products are really good at making your existing items smart. And their existing Hub Mini did just that. Now the Hub 2 offers some new features and is a whole new product in itself. If you want to know the difference between the Hub 2 and the Hub Mini and when you should upgrade, I'm going to be putting out a comparison video on this channel really soon, so be sure to subscribe to be first to see that. And let's start off by talking about price. Now the Hub 2 retails at $79.99. This makes it a more expensive kind of home hub. There are, however, quite regularly sales and also discounts if you buy multiple items. In addition to that, I've got a special 10% off voucher, which I'll put in the description below for you guys. So let's talk about what you get with the Hub 2. Now, most smart home hubs are generally used for taking a particular brands of products and making them connect to your phone or to the internet. This allows things like out-of-home access. Now, the Hub 2 does act as a wireless hub for your Bluetooth SwitchBot products, giving you things like out-of-home access, but it also offers some extra features as well. This includes a temperature and humidity sensor, the data for which is displayed on the display of the Hub 2. The Hub 2 also has 2 action buttons for running quick actions. It also has a remote control relay feature. This means it can learn the signals from your infrared remote controls, allowing you to control those devices using your phone. This in turn also allows you to control those devices using different scenes and also things like Siri shortcuts. And then finally, and in my opinion, the most exciting thing about the Hub 2 is that it brings Matter support to SwitchBot devices. This allows them to appear in things like Apple's Home app and also Google Home apps. And I'm going to talk about all of those features as we go through this video, but let's talk about design for a minute. Now the Hub 2 has a nice white design with rounded edges. In the box you get a cable which connects to USB, and this cable includes the thermometer and humidity sensor. The actual Hub 2 has a kickstand, but you can also stick it to a wall if you want to. The front of the Hub 2 has an LED display that shows you the current temperature and humidity of the room the device is in. It also has 2 buttons for scenes or actions that you can program via the SwitchBot app. Of course, if you don't want any of this information to be on the Hub's display, or perhaps just don't want the buttons to display, you can disable all of this in the SwitchBot app. Personally, I think the design is really nice and it looks really modern. The only thing I'm not sure about is having the actual temperature and humidity sensor on the cable. And I don't really know why SwitchBot have done that, but I'm sure there's a reason. Personally, I'd have liked to see it as part of the device itself. So how easy is it to set up the Hub? Setting up the Hub 2 itself is nice and easy. And this is simply done via the SwitchBot app. From there you can name it, you can assign it to a room, and you can tweak settings for the buttons and the display. In terms of range and how many of your SwitchBot devices it can reach, I found the range is really good. This means it can reach all of my devices across my 3-bedroom house. This, of course, is essential when it comes to using it with Matter, but also out-of-home control and voice assistance. The Hub 2 also allows you to program your infrared remotes, and the setup process is a great time to do this. Now, if you've previously got a Hub Mini, it's worth saying that there is no way to transfer the remotes, and so you'll need to delete your existing remote and start again. When it comes to programming remotes and setting those up, this is pretty easy, especially for common remotes like televisions. And for a lot of these, you can just select a manufacturer and press one of the buttons, and SwitchBot automatically knows the rest. For other remotes, it's a slightly longer process of teaching individual buttons and labeling those. This is pretty easy to do, but can be a little bit time consuming, especially if your remote has lots of buttons. Once you've got your remote set up, you can control it using a remote style display on the SwitchBot app, but then also in things like scenes and Siri shortcuts. For example, I've got a scene linked to a shortcut that presses the volume up button 4 times for my television. In turn, I've also got the down equivalent. Now, this infrared relay feature was present on the Hub Mini, but SwitchBot have improved the range of this with the Hub 2, and this is certainly something I've noticed in using it. Of course, when it comes to using this feature, your Hub 2 will still need to be in infrared range of the device you're trying to control. This means if you've got it in your living room, you couldn't program it to a television that's upstairs in your house. And this is just because of the way infrared works. And then finally, when it comes to setup, you might also want to set up Matter configuration. And this might be the main reason you've upgraded from the Hub Mini to the Hub 2, or maybe the reason you've chosen the Hub 2 to start with. Now, if you don't know what Matter is a new cross-platform smart home protocol. This has been agreed by some of the biggest manufacturers out there, including Apple, Amazon, and Google. Now, in the long run, Matter-compatible products will allow you to easily switch between smart home infrastructures. This means if you wanted to switch from something like Amazon's voice assistant to Siri, you could do that easily without having to buy loads of new products, because Matter will allow all of those devices to be compatible with all of those devices. Now, one of the things I really like is how quickly SwitchBot have decided to embrace Matter, and actually they're one of the first companies to really roll this out. Now, this is very much in beta in the app, however, it seems to work pretty well so far. Setting it up involves going into the Hub 2 settings, and then you can set it up in your Apple Home app or your Google Home app. Now, this isn't a complicated process, but it does take quite a few steps, and so I'm also going to put out a tutorial video to help you guys with that. Now, when it comes to the Hub 2, this means the humidity and temperature sensors will appear inside your Home app. Now, I've only tested this with Apple, but this works. In addition to that, SwitchBot have talked about rolling out backwards compatible support for Matter to their other devices. At the moment, the only devices this has been rolled out to are the curtains and blind tilt devices. Now, in the Matter settings in the Hub 2, you can add these extra devices, which then appear pretty much instantly in your Home app. From my experience, it can take a couple of minutes for them to refresh and appear there. From there, within something like your Apple Home app, you can then rename them and assign them to your rooms. This then gives you the ability to control these devices using your Apple Home app. Of course, this then lets you use it with things like automations within the Home app and also with Siri directly. Now, when it comes to the rest of SwitchBot's products, SwitchBot have said that they're going to be rolling out support across their products during the year. This means you can look forward to native Apple and Google Home support as time goes on. Now, of course, when it comes to any product, you should never buy it at a promise of something it will do. You should buy it at what it does straight away. This means if you've got a product by SwitchBot that isn't the blinds or the curtains, maybe you want to hold off just to see when support comes to the SwitchBot product you want. What I will do is update the description as and when SwitchBot add more products to the Matter compatibility. So finally, let's talk about what it's like to use the Hub 2 on a daily basis. And when it comes to using something like the Hub 2 on a daily basis, it's one of those devices that you don't really realise is there because you just use the features that it comes with. For example, if you want to control your television, you just open the app and go into the TV, and then you can use those controls. Likewise, if you set up automations to open or close your curtains at certain times, or maybe you want to control them in the Apple Home app, you simply just open those apps and do those things, or the automations run seamlessly. And this is one of the things that makes the Hub 2 a really great product, because it does exactly what you want it to do. When you set up your SwitchBot devices with voice assistants such as Amazon, it works well every time. When you set up automations in Home, it works. When you try and control it from your Apple Home app, it works as well. And this is why I think the Hub 2 is great and really builds on what SwitchBot got going with the Hub Mini. And of course, the more SwitchBot products you have, the more you're going to get out of it. The other features worth talking about on a day-to-day basis are things like the temperature and humidity sensor. Now, these are nice features to have, especially when they appear in your native Home app, so in my case, the Apple Home app. Within the SwitchBot app, you also have things like the historical data for these temperatures and humidity levels. This is great for monitoring them over a period of time. In all honesty, however, whilst this is a nice feature, it's not really something I've used. That being said, if you wanted to, you could set it up to control certain devices when humidity or temperature reaches certain levels. Maybe you've got a smart plug hooked up to a heater that you want to come on when the temperature drops below a certain level. So all in all, what's the verdict of this brand new Hub from SwitchBot? Whilst the Hub 2 is more expensive than the Hub Mini, it does pack in a lot of extra features. The improved infrared relay is noticeable, the device itself looks great, and then it's also got the Matter support, which I think is a must-have for Apple users. If you're trying to decide whether you should upgrade your Hub Mini to the Hub 2 or which one you should pick up, the comparison video I'm going to do will be out really soon, so make sure you subscribe to this channel to see that first. If you've got any questions about the Hub 2, do stick them below and I'll answer those, especially as I've had this a few weeks before it's been launched. If you do want to pick one up, I've put Amazon and SwitchBot purchase links below, and if you do want to pick it up through the SwitchBot website, there's a special discount code where you can get 10% off as well. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Consider subscribing to my channel, and I will see you guys again soon.